Hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Daniel, and we are live on Facebook for the Little Red Couch. As always, we're very thankful to the Tiffin Gallery for hosting us here. And it's always a wonderful space to come back here. But today, it's not about the Little Red Couch, right? We've got a wonderful story that we want to share. And it's today with me is Margaret, right?
Yeah.
So, Margaret, share with me a little bit about yourself and
Okay. I'm happy to be here. Okay, thanks for having me here tonight, and I'm happy to share about the journey that I have with my mom.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Hello, Auntie. If you're watching at home, how old is Mummy?
she's okay. She turned 90 this year.
Whoa!
Okay, which it came as a surprise because she's probably the oldest surviving sibling. Yeah. That there were 10 of them, so now she's the last one.
Okay, so Mummy is the sole survivor, and you mentioned Mummy is 90, right?
Yeah, so she was diagnosed with Alzheimer at about 72, there and about, I think 72, 73, there and about.
Okay, so 90, 72, wow, yeah, I can't do the math. 16 years, 17
Yeah,
years?
16 years, 16 years.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a little bit early for someone in the 70s, before even hitting mid-70s, to be having dementia.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just so happened to her. No family genes.
Yeah.
I don't know how she got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But my little suspicion is because she's very close to me, and so when I got married, I think probably that moment, she got a little bit lost. Maybe she probably had some depression, which I probably did not know about.
Did not pick it up.
Yeah, I did not pick it
Yeah.
up. I did not know about it. Yeah, so because I understand from even some of the geriatricians that even her geriatrician that I spoke to is sometimes it's the depression that actually kicks off
The dementia or the Alzheimer's
yes,
that we're
correct.
talking about.
So
Okay.
I suspect she probably had that at that time, but
Yeah.
I didn't realize it.
Yeah, you said when you were getting married, I mean, like,
Yeah, so
yeah, what happened? Yeah.
Oh no, because it's like she's very close to me.
Yep.
Yeah. And we used to go out together every weekend.
Yeah.
Every weekend
Yeah.
after novena.
Okay.
Okay. So because she's a very pious Catholic, so yeah. And then when I got married, probably she felt a little bit lost.
Suddenly, bo entertainment
Yeah.
already.
No, I mean I still come back. She
Yes.
stays over with me over the weekends.
Yeah.
And weekdays I will come back like every Wednesday for dinner. Yeah. So when I came back, I mean I also started noticing something not quite like my mom. Like for example, she's a very good cook, okay, and she enjoys cooking, very good cook, and she's a very detailed, meticulous person. Even she cuts her things, she cuts very finely.
Yeah.
But when I started going back, I realized that the things that she cooked, okay, she started cooking a little bit lesser. She'll supplement with something that she buys from outside. But
Okay.
whatever she cooks, you will notice that whatever she cuts
Bo
is
xiang
very
already,
rough.
different already.
Yes, it's totally
Yeah.
different.
So when you say
Yeah.
Mummy was a very good cook, what's your favorite food memory of Mummy's cooking? I mean,
Everything.
wow, name one.
Yeah, she does good rendang, and it's only now I realize that she cooks a lot of Peranakan
Yeah?
dishes, which at that time I didn't know they were
Wow,
Peranakan.
I'm hungry liao leh. So Peranakan dishes,
Yeah.
wow.
Because I think it was an influence from my grandmother.
Okay.
I also thought my grandma was a Peranakan because she wears the kebaya
Yeah.
all the time. But when I found out from my mom that she wears a kebaya all the time was because she hangs around with a lot of Peranakan friends.
Yeah.
So she's always on
Adopted lah, yeah.
Yeah. So in the end, I think she started cooking Peranakan dishes,
Yeah.
and then my mom probably learned from her, and then that's probably how
So
it happened.
when you talk about the rendang, do you cook rendang?
I used the premix. I'm too lazy to
So-
do the full
So the
thing.
family must enjoy some of the.
I enjoy cooking.
Yeah.
I enjoy cooking. Yeah,
Yeah.
but then I tend to take a bit of shortcut because I really don't have much time.
Yeah.
Because now that my mom is at the nursing home, I have a bit more time, but it still keeps me kind of busy because I need to shuttle between home and nursing home.
Okay, we'll come to the nursing home bit shortly, right? But we were saying like 16 years ago, when Mummy was diagnosed with Alzheimer's,
Okay.
how did that feel for you? I mean, the
I
feeling.
didn't know I'm going to be on a very long journey. I mean,
Okay.
when I found out about that, okay, and I'm someone who is very, which is why my mom didn't like me at that time because I was very strict with her. I had to treat her like my daughter because
Okay.
she wasn't listening, and I had to, she was a very active woman.
Yeah.
She loves to shop, she loves to chit chat and everything, and she loves to move around. And
Yeah.
she used to like sometimes come home like 1 a.m. I don't know who she was chatting with.
Yeah. Party
So-
lah. Party.
Perhaps. Yeah. And what happened was that when I found out that she had that, I wanted to probably stretch her a little bit.
Okay.
So I was really hard on her. I would bring her around. She used to take the MRT, so I would go out with her by the MRT, and then I would ask her, okay, we will be going to this place. So tell me which station we're going to change MRT station.
Yeah.
She used to know all these routes.
Yeah.
And at that time, I think it was only the green line and the red line.
Yeah.
So she used to know all these routes. So she started struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
But I kept doing that with her. So and I even made her do arithmetics.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
before I left for work, I would do all the arithmetic sums, subtractions,
Yeah.
addition, and all
Yeah.
that. I would leave it there and ask her to do.
And mommy could still do it, right?
She could, but like any kid, you would have to push her to do it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the trick here, right, caregivers, I mean, like we're sharing tips and tricks about caregiving, right? It's also sometimes like what Margaret is saying, right? You got to stretch your elderly a little bit. You got to push them a little bit harder, and sometimes you have to, lack of a better word, discipline them into
Yes.
compliance and action, right? But I'm not saying, hey, you got to do it like, right? And there's no room for any errors and all that stuff. But it's really to continue to excite what's in there with your elderly and try and push them a little bit further every day. Try to see that, hey, maybe they still have it. Even if they're losing it slowly.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Of
Yeah.
course, medication helps as well.
Yeah.
So.
So mommy was early diagnosis, right? You were
Yes,
saying,
correct.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us about that. I mean.
So she was diagnosed with that. So of course, as in like how I actually decided to send her for assessment.
Yeah, and did that help? Early diagnosis, did that help with the care plan, the
Definitely.
care treatment? And,
I mean, basically, you're able to stretch her a little bit. Of course, you will really have to work hard. You have to. I mean, it was my first time, and I hope it will be my last time. Okay, going through that journey, and at that time, I didn't know, but it's just based on my own instinct. I felt that was the right thing to do with her.
Yeah.
I wanted her to do arithmetic. Nobody told me about arithmetics, but
Yeah.
I asked her to do it.
yeah,
And then there was a period she was very into jigsaw puzzle.
great.
So
yeah.
I let her do her jigsaw puzzle as
Yeah.
well. So I would buy her from like like 20, 25 pieces kind of jigsaw puzzle to 40 pieces, that kind of thing.
Slowly
Yeah.
upgrade lah, the different levels.
And the amazing thing is, at that time, even though she was diagnosed with that, she would still know that, hey, for me to start a jigsaw puzzle, for me to make it easy for myself, she would start from the corners.
Right,
Yes.
right. So
Which I was quite amazed.
it's instinctive.
Yes.
And it's learning from their own past experiences and how to do this
But she
with
was-
you when you were young, right?
I don't recall doing jigsaw puzzle with her, but the thing is, she suddenly had this. She
Yeah.
goes through different phases.
Yeah.
So the phase from, of course, she hates arithmetic, and after that then she suddenly loves jigsaw puzzles.
Yeah.
So she goes everywhere with it, and we even like send her to Australia where my sister is.
Yeah.
So she brings along all her jigsaw puzzles.
Yeah.
And then there will be another phase whereby she enjoys staring at the magazine or any book for that matter,
Yeah.
even if it's upside down.
Okay.
Then there came another phase whereby she would start tearing the pages.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to be wary what we leave on the table, because I always tell my son, please don't leave your textbook at the table, because
Yeah.
it may be in pieces by the time you come back.
Yeah, but you see, so there's another learning here that we can talk about, is that mommy has her own personality. She has likes and dislikes. She likes to bring things that are with her. There are things that she treasures, and if you are caring for an elderly, please allow your elderly to have that choice, that decision making ability. He says, I like jigsaw now. I want to bring my jigsaw along with me. This is what I like. I don't want to go and shop for things that I don't want. Even when I travel to Australia, I want to bring things that are close to me with me so I can feel comfortable. So please, if you're caring for someone, let them have something that's close to them, that is really something that they treasure at that point in time, right? If they don't like it tomorrow, so be it. But today, they like it. They enjoy doing it. Let them do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
So you will see the different phases, like I said.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically that's very much about her. When
At the start, right?
At
And
the
you mentioned
start.
there's not much information back then. Everything was trial and error. You were trying it at home, and
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
And I guess another challenging part about at the start is like she started waking up at night.
okay,
So she doesn't want to sleep. She didn't want to sleep, and she started waking up at night. And usually, what we had to do was we had to close the kitchen sliding door
yeah.
because we were afraid that she would go to the kitchen and reach up for a knife
Oh dear.
because we would
Okay.
be sleeping,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So we would close the sliding door, and then there was one particular experience that it was a little bit scary and
Yes,
funny
tell
at
us.
the same
Yeah.
time. Okay, like I said, she would always wake up in the middle of the night, and at the time she was sleeping with my helper.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes my helper may not even realize that she has woken up. So she woke up, and she tends to go around the house. Okay, I guess because she woke up, she needed to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
Okay, but the toilet, I mean the doors of the bedroom, the toilet door, and all the other rooms,
Looks similar.
they exactly the same. They were all white in color.
Okay.
So with that, we knew that she had this problem identifying which door.
Yeah.
So I would tell my helper to leave
Keep it
the,
ajar.
Yes, leave
Yeah.
the toilet door ajar.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you see, the problem is that when she comes out from the room, okay, the moment she comes out from the room, her habit is that she will close the door.
Yeah, and that's it,
So
right?
she will forget which room
When
she
the
came out
repeated
from.
visit, she would have.
Yeah, so she will forget. So she I mean at that time she probably didn't know which room to go back to because
Yeah.
the doors were the same.
Yeah.
They were all closed. So she would loiter around the
Yeah.
living room, and then we have photographs being placed outside. So she will play with the photographs and,
Yeah.
and turn the frame around. So sometimes when we wake up in the next day, I would know that she had woken up the night before because all my photo frames will be upside down,
Yeah.
will be in different
Yeah.
position and all that. Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. So but there was one day I can't exactly remember now how it happened, but the thing is I realized that she wasn't in her bed. So I went. That was late at night, and I went to look for her around the house. I couldn't find her.
Yeah.
So of course the first thing I looked at was I went to the balcony
Yeah.
and I looked down where the pool was to
Yeah.
see did she,
Right.
because that could well happen.
Of course.
Even though the sliding door of the balcony was closed, she
Yeah.
could just open it because
Yeah.
we didn't lock it.
Yeah.
But she wasn't
Natural
there.
instinct, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she
Okay.
wasn't there, so I couldn't find her. Then guess where I found
Must
her?
be in the toilet.
Yeah, in my master bedroom toilet, and she was next to my bathtub, and she was wearing my undies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
it's I don't know. It was scary at the same time. I think it was. I tried to take it with
Right.
take it really light in the sense
Yeah.
that okay, it's funny, okay, but it's not that funny after all because
It's
something
real.
could have happened.
Yeah.
Something could have happened to
Yeah.
her, and thankfully it didn't. And I found her in my bathroom,
Yeah.
in the master bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we stop on that, right? Because there were two learning points that I wanted to share with fellow caregivers as well. That hey, there could be some home improvements that you can actually do. You mentioned white walls, right? White doors, and all of it was white. But maybe someone with the Alzheimer's as well as with dementia, like my dad as well, he doesn't really quite tell where white spaces are.
Mhm.
So in our respect, in what we do with the arts, right, we always talk about a little bit on color theory, right? And if you could actually maybe make some arrangements to paste her favorite photo or a different color, or maybe to just wash the wall with a different color, with a different paint, that would perhaps could have helped Mummy to get back to her room back then.
Probably,
Yeah,
I don't know,
Yeah.
because they have short-term memory.
yeah. But if they have a little favorite color, or a little favorite flower, or a little sticker that they like, they'll probably be drawn back to
Yeah,
that.
probably,
Maybe a
yeah,
piece of
that-
zigzag.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, would have done that, right? So please consider what your folks like, and maybe perhaps if they do get lost within the house, put something that they're familiar with at the door. You can just hang it like a little bell or something like they like, and just put it there. And the second thing is that you said that I took it with a pinch of humor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Because
instead
you
of
have
being
to.
upset, instead of being like screaming at Mummy, it was hey, actually it's quite funny, right? Like,
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
I wasn't upset, but I was quite
Worried.
relieved because I couldn't find her. So
Yeah.
where could she have had gone to. I mean, and of course the first thing, my reaction was to look down the balcony to see whether was she down.
Yeah.
Because that could well happen to her.
Of course.
Yeah, and thankfully it did not.
Yeah, we understand that. So again, the second point is that, hey, as we care for our caregivers, we also need to be on the preventive stuff. Like, she closes the sliding door, she makes sure that the kitchen, the access to the kitchen and the knives and all those sharp equipments are placed away, right? And you actually close the door to the kitchen. So that's something that you also must take note, right? And not say, hey, it's free play and everything is all loose, scissors, knives, and everything else is all available openly for your elderlies to walk around and access to it. So that's something that you have to do proactively and on the preventive side of it, because prevention is always better than cure, right?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. So we move a little notch, right? A little bit more to we also want to thank people for coming in as well. So Gladys, Ellie, Serene, Sam, Rachel, thank you for being here. Vincent as well, thank you for coming on. If you have questions for Margaret, please ask her, right? Because I want to come to the crux of our story today, or really the important part we want to talk about. It's what finally made you decide that the nursing home was where you want to put Mummy. I mean, I want to bring you back to that time where.
Okay, it was a really tough decision, but lasted. She was diagnosed for for 16 years, right?
Yeah.
And it was only the last 4 years she stayed there. I guess it was a time when we realized that the mobility was also an issue. Okay, we have a very active, my family has a very active lifestyle because my two boys are very into sports. They are constantly at tournaments, from football tournaments to tennis tournaments, and my mom followed us everywhere we go.
Okay.
She has very good stamina because she's a Cantonese, so she eats a lot of herbal soup. So her stamina is superb. Okay, and so she followed us everywhere we went, and but we realized that probably when she was maybe at about 85, it was a little bit of a struggle for her. She had problem. Okay, I wouldn't say she had problems. She had some difficulty getting out of the car or get into the car.
So there was mobility issues, yeah.
Yeah. So and then going out, of course, and I started realizing that she started being a little bit fearful of steps.
Yeah.
Especially when we were taking steps down.
Yeah.
That's when I realized that I could sense she had that fear for
that
taking
apprehension
steps.
and that
Apprehension
perception,
to take a step forward.
Yeah.
So and that was one thing, but I knew that there will be a time that probably it will be an issue because I can't possibly stay at home the whole weekend, which I did for a good almost 6 months or slightly more, because she couldn't go out anymore. And so my husband would bring the kids for their tournaments, so I would stay with her. But 我也是人, right? After a while, I need to get my my outlet as well, outlet as well.
Okay.
But that was not the main reason why I sent her to the nursing home. That would have been a selfish reason. But I guess the last straw on the camel's back was when she was sick. She was having this fever, and I brought her to a normal family GP. So this GP of ours, I guess he wasn't used to seeing old folks, So when my mom was having a fever, I brought her there, and he was telling, I was asking, my mom is this, and then I said, how come my mom started becoming delirious? Yeah, she started singing to herself and continuously for 2-3 days. Yeah. So the GP told me, it was normal for old folks to be like this because they are very old and they're having a fever. So that was probably a reason. So he prescribed some antibiotics and stuff like that. So my mom got better. Got better. But the doctor also highlighted to me that if her fever were to come back again, then it could be an infection or whatsoever. Then you better send her to A&E straight away. Don't bring her to a GP. So she got better, but after a few days later, she started going into a delirium again, and then her fever came back. So remembering what the GP told me, so I sent her to the A&E. Right. But the thing is, during this period, I was actually in touch with some social worker, and because I was actually kind of on the lookout for a nursing home for her.
Already?
Because why? Because at that time, unlike right now, at that time to get a nursing home, a place at a nursing home, you could be waiting for years.
It's like a long queue, right? Even
Yes.
until today, it's a queue. It's like
I
queuing
don't
up for
think
primary school, man.
Just today, I think it's a bit better.
Better now,
I think
yeah.
it's better. I think the
Okay.
government has. I mean, they recognize that hey, they are
The
there are more
population
folks
is aging. If you are
Yeah.
hearing, like
exactly. So to a
Yeah.
point that I even went to even Johor.
yeah,
I
okay.
able to look at nursing home because I figured that if it were to be so difficult to put her at a nursing
in the
home
locally,
here,
yeah,
then I may have to look at other sources elsewhere. As much as I wouldn't want to. So I did visit 2 nursing homes in Johor.
yeah,
So one of them definitely a no. Yes, much cheaper, but I would not be able to see my mom being there.
yeah,
I don't think I would have that heart to leave her at that place. As much as it was cheaper, so it was a no for me and also for my husband.
yeah,
It was another nursing home. I think they have a few branches in Singapore too.
sure.
But that one was a newer one, and it was much bigger, very conducive. It even had a alfresco kind of breakfast area, which I thought was nice
Yeah.
for old folks. It was a little bit more expensive, but I think it would be better for her. I think I would have been more,
You could
at
sleep
ease.
better at night.
Yeah, I would be
Yeah.
more at ease if my mom were to be there.
Yeah,
Okay, so but I wasn't ready to put her there, but I just wanted to look at the place.
yeah,
So I delayed the decision as well. So until to a point that I felt that I needed to. So every now and then I would actually, like WhatsApp the nursing home
Yeah.
of Johor, the gentleman that was actually in charge of the admission part.
right.
So I would ask him, hey, can you just make sure you let me know if the
The
bed,
place opens up.
yeah,
Yeah.
there were vacancies, but I didn't want to put her there yet
Yeah.
because I think she could still hang around with me for a little longer.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to make sure that if I really needed one, there would be an available
Something
seat for
available
them.
out there.
So I had to keep track of the availabilities as well. So every now and then I would WhatsApp him, what is the the bed
Yeah.
vacancies, how many beds are there left.
Yeah.
So I always tell him if you were to be down to like 2 or 3, please highlight to me.
Yeah, so then you can make that
Yes,
decision.
correct. So
Okay.
but yeah. go ahead.
So at this piece, right? You did all the planning, you did all the sourcing around. That's the mind piece, right? That's the reasoning bit. I want to know how it felt like emotionally. I mean, like thinking that the day will come where you put mommy in a nursing home. How do you feel as a daughter?
At that time, to be honest, I wasn't feeling so much yet
Yeah.
because the thing had not happened.
Right.
So maybe fast forward
When the thing happened, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
How it happened? Because I decided that because when she was ill and she
Yeah.
was being infected because she was hospitalized,
Yeah.
I didn't know she was having an infection because I was talking to a social worker at that time.
Yeah.
Why I got engaged with a social worker in Singapore was because I needed to get ready all her documentations, all her medical records and all that from Singapore. So in the event I need to
Needed to move her.
I
Yeah.
need to have all these records
Sure,
ready to
sure.
give
Let's
it
do
to
the
them
planning
as
pieces,
home.
yeah.
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 So
The
when
emotional bit,
yeah,
yeah.
so when the thing happened, so when I highlighted to the social worker, I said, I don't know, my mom is like sick, and then she started being in delirium and all that. So she was asking me this question: could she be having an infection right now?
Mm.
And I thought, yeah, maybe. I mean, that was how the whole thing triggered. So when that happened, I realized that hey, I'm no longer in a position to take care of my mom anymore.
Medically, right? Medically,
She
clinically.
Yeah, she needs medical attention. She can
Yeah.
have my attention, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse.
I hear you.
If I can't even do that, how could I expect my helper to be able to do that?
Yeah.
So that's when I realized that she has to go to a nursing home. So it's a combination of the mobility plus what was happening to her, that particular episode whereby she had an infection and I didn't even know.
Yeah.
So it took a few days before I sent her to an A&E and all that.
Yeah.
So that was when I realized that, hey, I think
On the clinical front, on the medical front, you can no longer provide that level
Yep,
of care for mommy,
correct.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to dig even deeper. That's what we
Okay.
do on the Little Red Couch, right?
Right.
真人真事真的是要真的找这个故事出来讲，是说it's not easy to do this, but there's mommy. Or how did you break that news to mommy that, hey mom, tomorrow you're going to a home and we will see you like maybe every other day we'll visit you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Find that moment in there.
well, I
Does
had
she
a lot.
know?
I
Yeah.
I guess I did tell her, but at that time she wasn't that aware anymore. Cognitively, she wasn't that aware anymore. So that kind of made it easier for me to make
Okay.
that decision too, because I discussed with my husband at length, and I told him, come to think of it, she no longer knows whether she's here or there or anywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
So would it really matter, you know? But of course, I would need to tell her.
Yeah.
Whether she caught it or not, I don't know. But the thing is, I told her about it. So the last 2 weeks before I sent her to the nursing home,
Yeah.
it was I would say it was a painful thing for me.
Yes.
Because,
Tell us that painful piece where I can put deeper into it.
okay,
Yeah.
so I know that, okay, there's a good thing and bad thing about it, because when she was staying with me, you tend to take things for granted because she's always there. So what typically happens when she was staying with me was that, okay, I'll be at my computer in my room doing my work, okay, and she will be outside sitting on the couch in the living room reading her magazines, or doing whatever, or watching TV, or the TV was watching her, okay. So it had been that way for a long time.
For a long
But
time.
so that is when you start taking things for granted that she's always there.
Right.
But when I realized that, hey, she's gonna go to a nursing home soon in about a few weeks' time. So when I started working on my computer, so I took a chair, I brought the chair to put behind me, and I made her sit behind me. So I started playing songs at Spotify. For the first time in my life, I played Spotify in Cantonese.
Yeah.
Though my mom listens to English songs too, but I don't know, I think she can relate better to Cantonese.
Yeah.
So I played that for her. So whether was she listening or not, I don't know. But the thing is, so it was that period. I guess it was difficult, but and at the end of the day, okay, the day came. I had to send her to a nursing home, and the thing is, when I was sending her to the nursing home, I think she knows. I have a feeling she knows that she was a bit fearful, and I had to explain to her. Even though my mom at the time, she was not able to articulate. Cognitively she may not be there, but actually even right now when she is at her advanced stage, she's really at her advanced stage. I think cognitively she is aware. She still understands probably like 20% of it, because sometimes when I go to the nursing home to visit her and I talk to her, she kind of gives me a nod or something like that. Yeah, so she kind of knows. So I think she knows. She probably understands a little bit. Yeah. So so when we were there at the nursing home and I had to leave her there, well, we were at the lobby and we were about to move up going to the lift, and she was on a wheelchair. At the time she could still walk, okay, but they placed her on a wheelchair, so she was clenching her, she was holding my hand very tightly. So that was when I sensed, probably maybe because this is a new environment, she's not a familiar environment, and she's with someone else and she doesn't know what's going to happen to her, or probably she knew what was going to happen to her. So that's why she was holding my hands very tightly.
Her anxiety as well.
Probably, yes,
Yeah.
I think so, because it's a total a foreign environment for her. Yeah, so that was how we left her there. Okay, of course with a lot of assurances that I would come and visit her and all that. Probably she understood and probably she didn't, I don't know.
Yeah.
But the next day, I went to visit her because I wanted to make sure that she was really properly settled down.
Right.
So and that was how it happened. So the geriatrician that because she has been seeing this geriatrician, and by the way she'll be seeing the same geriatrician tomorrow, and has been seeing her from the day that she was diagnosed. Okay, he was the one who diagnosed her with Alzheimer until now. Okay, so he saw the whole entire journey of my mom, the different phases she was in, from talking to her to now. The geriatrician is only talking to her, but she wasn't really responding.
Yeah, it's not reciprocal.
Yeah, it's not reciprocal in that sense. So so he was very nice, and he kept telling me that, hey, don't let that guilt, bothers you, because you have to know that you have a family of your own, you have a life of your own, and sometimes it's for the better. And to this very day, off and on, he will always tell me that, hey, you made the right decision. You made the right decision for mom to send her to a nursing home.
Yeah.
So of course, I had to discuss this with my sister, who's in Australia. Of course, you always read about news in the papers that, how these old folks in the nursing home badly treated. They were being so-called like dumped onto the bed after shower and all that. And there was that kind of news that came on as well. So my sister was asking me, she's going to be like this, are you sure this is the way to go? But let's put it that way. It's always easier for the person to say when they didn't have to go through it, and when they didn't have to take care of the person.
Precisely, right? So, Perrine, thank you. I will try to be louder as well, because prior to this, I think Margaret had a moment. We wanted to give that. We wanted to give her that moment as well, and of course that would alter the voice as well a little bit. But hey, I'm not going to put you and your sister on the spot, because I would say, like, in the last 4 years, has sister come back and visit mom or?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think a little bit more often, probably a few months, probably 3 to 4 times a year.
Yeah. Okay.
But with the current COVID, so she couldn't come out.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm still the main caregiver.
Right.
So at the end of the day, to me, yes, I do have my concern about putting my mom in a nursing home, where she'll be well taken care of and all that.
Of course.
And right now she's at St. Andrews. Okay, I must say, I mean, the home is. I'm very happy with the home. Of course, it cannot be 100% perfect. There are still rooms for improvement.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm very vocal there. I met up with even the director there. Whatever I felt it wasn't right, I
hello
say
Nancy, it's Andrews.
So and basically I would share how I feel and their feedback.
You will verbalize your concerns. Yeah.
I mean, it's not just for my mom. I think it's for the residents there as well. It's for everyone. Yeah. So, but they did a good job. I think so far I couldn't have asked for more. Okay, and and I also believe that if you want to put your parents at a nursing home, and if you want to make sure that they really take care of your parents, I think it's important that you have to be there all the time to show that you even care. Because if they notice that the family members are not even visiting them, why are they paying that kind of attention?
That's a great point, right? And that's one of the points that I have always been asking. I said that, look, in the first week after you leave your loved ones at a nursing home, you will naturally go every single day, right? And then after that, maybe after the first month, you'll go every single week, maybe once or twice or 3 times or 4 times. But then after a year, you'll probably see them like maybe once or twice a month. And then after a couple of years, you'll probably see them during festive holidays. And eventually, what my opinion at least, everyone, please, you can give your comments. What do you think? Nursing home, yeah. Nursing home, nah. Not going to happen for you. But my opinion really is that if we send our loved ones into a nursing home, that really is, to me, the final journey. Because you go in either on a wheelchair or you go in walking in, but usually when you come out in a box. So that's my humble opinion. So like what Margaret is saying is, as long as I can still care for my dad and mom, and medically, if I'm still able to take them to the clinics and so on and so forth, I may not want to consider a nursing home, but that's just everybody's different perspective. So if you're really looking at our chat right now, put in the chat whether you think nursing home is something that you would do, you would think really hard about, or you say, no, Daniel, I won't do it because that is against my ethos, that's against my family's culture. But some of you have did it, right? Those of you who did it, please put it in the chat as well. I want to hear from you because you've been hearing from us for a while as well. And I want to wrap up the segment, right? Because we went on this whole idea of a carer's dilemma in putting whether nursing home, not nursing home. Your decision was because I could no longer care for mommy on a medical point, a clinical standpoint. I need to get her better care for that because it's not possible at home, and you don't expect your helper to do it as well. And so that's what's one of the clinical choices to actually put mommy there. Did you really have that guilt until today? I mean, today, if you look
today,
back.
no, but initially, yeah, you would. But I try to make it up by visiting her very often. and I still do. Okay, but I think Daniel had a point, because someone said that to me. Maybe the first year I would survive going every other day, but subsequently maybe no. But I proved that someone wrong, because I think okay, partially it's also because I left my job, okay, in a sense, so it gives me more time as well, okay. Of course, I mean, I don't expect people to go like 3-4 times a day if they are working. I could easily understand, but I think we could make do with even once or twice a week. I think that would have made them happy, and they really do know that they are being visited by someone. Even like my mom, I think when we had the circuit breaker, I think her condition, and even some other residents, not just from her nursing home, but other nursing homes, the death rate actually went up. And the deterioration, I saw it, I witnessed it myself at her nursing home. People that used to be okay, they started going on tilt. They stop eating because I guess they don't see their loved ones and all that.
The social interaction, the connection, even the idea of touching mummy and hugging mummy. Makes a lot of difference.
Yes. Because they communicate through touches. So when they don't get that, I think it aggravate their condition as well. So I mean, if we could, I think visiting them once or twice a week, even you're working, I think it's really good enough.
So we want to address the employers out here, right? So we are real human beings trying to make productivity work at the workplace. Think about it, right? We're all humans and have our own issues. Flexi hours, that's great, right? During COVID, we can do that. When we go back to work in the office, will there be an ability or to understand the powers on the ground, right? How many of our employees are caring for their loved ones, especially those who are caring for their loved ones in nursing home? What kind of support do you support them? Do you have peer-to-peer support for your employees going through certain situations? Because they may not want to come up and say that I have this situation at home. I want to talk to someone else who have been through that situation and could provide me some level of guidance. I don't want to see a counselor. I don't want to check myself in to get therapy sessions for self-care, but I just want to speak to someone. So think about it. Perhaps having a peer-to-peer support system at workplace might be something useful for employers if you're considering it right now. Now we bring it to the final closing point, right? I mean, you as a human being, we mentioned, right? 我也是人. How do you do self-care? Because a lot of our folks out there who are caregivers, they say, I don't really have time to do anything else, right? I'm 24/7, 7/11, 365 days. I'm stuck. How?
I was like that too. I was like that too.
How do you break that chain off?
I guess when I met, I don't know. I probably when I met this another lady that I came to know, I don't know. It's just somehow I realized that I probably threw myself, not just for my mom, but for my kids, for the whole entire family. But I forgot to love myself.
How do you recharge your battery?
And somehow I can't really remember what exactly. I guess it was this lady that I met, and that probably not that she has taught me about self-care or whatever, but through her, I mean, when I started knowing her better and all that, I guess it's important. I realized that hey, I'm not loving myself as much, and I think I should. Okay, you won't believe it. My very first pedicure session, and my girlfriends brought me out. Can you imagine? I was on the couch, and usually people would enjoy it, right? I actually doze off on the couch. Well,
because the battery is really empty. You need.
Yes. So it's not normal, because you don't see people like dozing off, like totally dozing off during a manicure or pedicure session. So I guess that's when I also realized that hey, I need to love myself too. You know, I mean, yes, not that I love my mom less, but I also need to love myself as well.
So that you can go the longer distance to do more for the ones you love.
And it's also for my kids as well, because okay, especially my sons, when my mom was staying with me, and they kind of saw the whole thing. They saw how my mom was, how I had to scold my mom and all that. But can you imagine, it put me in a very difficult situation, because I don't want my son to think that, hey, why are you always scolding your mother?
Because they are role modeling you.
Yes, correct. So every time I have to explain to them why. So they know why I had to say that to their popo, why I have to say this and scold the popo this. So I have to be very mindful about it, because otherwise they would grow up with the impression that
It's
I'm always
okay.
scolding my mom.
Yeah, and next time they can do it to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
But please don't do that, okay, both of you.
so yeah, so that's the thing. Yeah, so and I would not say it's a very good environment for kids as well.
Right.
But in a way, it also taught the kid about compassion, and this is something that both my sons have.
Yeah.
Yeah, compassion, because they saw how their popo, you
And
know.
empathy as well, you see, and
Yes,
that gives me
empathy.
goosebumps. Goosebumps are real, it cannot fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because of this, my oldest son wanted to be a geriatrician.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Because he wanted to take care of old people.
Yeah.
And yeah, so, and he has that compassion for.
And it
that
takes
role.
one generation to teach another generation, and now you're living and breathing that, because you took care of mummy, and then now your child wants to take care of elderly, and
Yes.
that's a silver lining, right? That's the rainbow at the end of the storm, right? And on this note, I really want to thank you for being here on the
Happy
show.
to be here.
But before we let you go,
Yes.
I wanted you to say something to mummy, right? Something that you may have not have said this to her before, and given a chance, I want to put it on record so that when you go visit her the next time, you can show her that you are saying this to her and say it in person for her. Say something to mummy that you know.
I really don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to know that, okay, she's definitely not watching this, okay, but the thing is, I wanted to know that, whatever I do, I used to scold her, I used to scold you, I used to, you know, you may think that I was very mean. Perhaps I was in the eyes of others, but I usually did it with a bigger reason behind it, okay, and yeah, and I honestly, I don't really care what others think about me when I, you know, say certain things to my mom. But yeah, but I guess she knows it's for the better. She knows that I meant it. I did it with her interest at heart.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. I feel you. Yeah. Because sometimes when the outside world look at us, we're like aliens. Yeah.
I must share this with you.
Yes, please.
So when she was staying with me, we used to go out. I have to port her at every now and then, okay? Because just in case she wants to go very badly,
Yeah.
and then I have to port her. So can you imagine in a public toilet, and then people queuing?
Yeah.
So both of us had to enter this tiny cubicle
Yeah.
because I had to, you know, port her,
Yeah.
right? So at that time she wouldn't know, you know, she will still care about, you know, she must be modest.
形象, yeah.
Yeah, she was thinking. So when I had to pull down her pants, she will pull up. Then I pull down, she will pull up. So when you're cramped in a cubicle, I mean, you know, then of course, you know, it's so hard.
Yeah.
And then she's not, you know, following what I wanted her to do. So of
Scream
course,
lah, shout lah.
I scolded her in
Yeah.
that sense. I scolded her. Yeah. So at times, I probably have to give her a light slap to make her realize that, hey, I'm doing this for you.
Yeah.
But of course, the people outside,
We think we're mad, right? We think that we're abusing our elderly.
but honestly, I really don't care.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm doing things within my conscience. I don't think I should care about what other people think about it.
And we can do a lot for the loved ones that we care for, but only for as long as we can,
Yeah.
right? And after that, there comes a certain point in time, like in your own words, right? There comes a certain point in time that if my life is going to be affected, if my own sanity is going to be affected, then somewhere down the line, I've got to at least learn to slow it down a little bit. And that's why I can take the run. I can take the longer run, right? I'm not doing a 100-meter sprint, but I'm taking. You said right, this journey is a long one. I'm taking a 10,000-meter run, a marathon, right? And we still got some way to go. It's not. We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because last year I thought I would lose her.
Yeah.
Because it was because of the circuit breaker story. So she was hospitalized for a long time, and I really noticed something wasn't right.
Yeah.
This is the thing about. I mean, I don't know about the rest of you, but the thing is, I took care of her so long that I could read her behavioral patterns. I would know when she's not looking well, even though I didn't see her physically, but via the video, the WhatsApp video when we were communicating, I could tell. Yeah, so from there, I sensed something wasn't right. Of course, I highlighted to the nursing home, but I guess they couldn't really tell. But true enough, she ended up in the hospital a few days later.
Yeah.
So during that period, I guess it's like, I almost lost her because that was how she ended up with the tube. And to put her on that tube, honestly, it wasn't something that was easy for me. I had to make a decision.
Yeah.
It was a decision that I asked myself, why me? Why am I making this kind of decision for her? Why did she not tell me when she was sound that she wouldn't want to be on this tube, or she didn't mind to be on this tube?
Yeah.
She told me how she kind of did certain action to tell me when she dies, whether she will want to be buried or cremated. But the tube part, she never told me.
Yeah.
So maybe at that time she didn't know there was such a thing. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it was a difficult decision for me. So I guess just now when you were sharing with me, I felt that if my it was meant to be a temporary thing to nurse her back to health, so that she will be eating through the tube, because oral feed she wasn't eating as much.
Yeah.
So it's for that reason I decided to put it on her temporarily. But I realized it, and the speech therapist and I, we discussed, it would probably be how she would be moving forward. So when the doctor in the hospital told me that this could be her baseline, of course I refused to accept it, because I figured I kind of challenged the doctor, no, But honestly, when she came out, it was probably somewhat her baseline. And I think the only reason why she's still on the tube is because she didn't attempt to pull it out. Because if she had attempted to pull it out, I knew that wouldn't be one thing she wants.
Yeah.
I think I will let her go.
Yeah.
Because there's no quality of life. She didn't.
And the dignity as well, and the fact that maybe on this is the final learning point that I want to share, right? That maybe now when your elderly and your loved ones are still in good health, ask them how they like to be treated. Ask them how they like to be cared for, because we don't ask that enough, right? We don't ask it at all, and then now we're trying to figure out.
We don't realize that this is an important question.
Yeah. So important question, right? It's a good learning point. On this note, right? I mean, I like the show to continue for the next hour or so, but because what you're sharing is really useful for all of us. But I have to end it somewhere, and I want to thank the three gentlemen, right? That have always been supporting you, your two sons and your husband.
Yeah.
That have been with you all this whole journey, right?
Yep.
Please, your airtime to thank them all at home.
Well, I would like to thank my husband. I mean, he has been very accommodative. Okay, it's hard to find someone like him to be, even though normally, they will be a little bit. I wouldn't say. How should I put it? I mean, he's really supportive. Okay,
Yeah.
He will try to also when my mom was staying with us, he will also try to engage with my mom. I think that's very important.
Yeah.
He did not leave her alone and sitting there. So sometimes he would make attempts to engage my mom.
Yeah.
And then my two sons, of course, they have been they quarrel among themselves. They may have so much noise, but it's a form of stimulation for my mom.
Yeah.
But because before I sent my mom to the nursing home, she was with the elder care.
Yeah.
Because I wanted stimulation for her, I wanted her to have social interaction as
Yeah.
well. So I think that's very important, because they cannot stay within the four walls at home all the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
because it will only aggravate their condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one final point, right? What would you say to caregivers out there to give them a word of encouragement or support?
Well,
Fellow caregivers like ourselves.
I guess I think it's a long journey, but I think it's a journey that we realize that hey, we ourselves will become a better person, because I'm an impatient person, a quick temper as well. I guess with my mom's condition and all that, I always came to this conclusion. I think God made this happen because God wanted to teach me something about.
It's our life
patience.
lessons, yeah.
Yeah, well, patience and probably to have more compassion. Yeah, not that I never had, but the thing is, it's a different thing altogether. It really changed your whole perspective of things. So I take this as really a life lesson for me, and a very enriching one, because I have no regrets that this happened. But if you want me to rewind, to go through it all over again, I'm not sure how to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
But it's something that I find that it's something that I have learned a lot along the way. A lot of trial and errors, and now I can give advice to even friends whose mom probably like going through this stage,
Yeah.
and I'm able to advise them better.
And thank you for
Yeah.
being a peer-to-peer supporter for us as well as part of this
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy
community.
to share.
Yeah. On this note, we have to end this somehow. But I'm wishing Mummy Rose, right, many more years ahead, and also
Thank
for
you.
you and the family to really enjoy that time spent with her. I mean, thank you for still going 4 times a week to the nursing home, and
Unfortunately, not now.
but you speak to her, right, every day 2 to 4 o'clock. That's what you get a chance to do.
Well,
Yeah.
I could speak to her daily, but
Yeah.
the thing is, I try not to burden the nurses.
Right.
So I do it alternate days.
Okay.
And weekends, because for my kids to see her and my husband. Yeah.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being on the Little Red Couch. As always, real people, real stories. We don't edit this stuff. We don't cut out all the bloopers and the stories and the tissue paper stuff that we have. But that's real, right? So we are all caregivers sharing real stories. If you want to be on the show, write to me or drop me a text message in here. And really, let's come back again for the next Little Red Couch. Thank you very much. Please stay safe, and wishing Margaret and her family more enjoyable times ahead.